Graduate?
So I graduated from Stanford April of 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So you've been in this world for nearly 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years. Yeah,
Got
out
you.
of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you were in college, were you already having some entrepreneurial kind of things coming up, or were you just focused on finance? Because you're a finance major, right?
Yeah. I was finance major, and I was just focused on my degree, getting out of there. I was one of those kids where I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had some avenues that I could go down toward, but it wasn't when I get out of college, I'm going to do this. I didn't have a job offer December, before graduation. It took me about 3 months to get a job because I didn't have a big motivation to do anything in particular, right? As most people do.
Yeah. What were your initial kind of mindset when you said, okay, I'm going to pick a finance as my major, and then go from there? What was that kind of decision process?
Yeah, man. The big part of me choosing the finance piece of it is, so my mother she was in banking in Huntsville for 20 years. And that was kind of growing up, I want to be a stockbroker or somewhat in banking, because that is the lifestyle you want. You go finance, accounting, econ, right? And stereotypically, that's just what gets you in the door faster. It's just those degrees, and they're boring. They're not, at least I thought they were. I had a lot of great classes at Stanford that I loved, like the real estate classes, investment classes, insurance, those were great. But, I wasn't super stoked to be a finance major most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in our conversation, we kind of talked about that of it takes some, in Alex's conversation, he was talking about grit. You have to have some sort of grit behind, okay, I'm going to throw myself into a field that is complex and is hard, and I'm going to figure it out, And so I'm excited to have this conversation because you've been able to do something where you're able to merge two similar topics, but you're able to be a active participant in both.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to jump into this. Let's go ahead and do the intro if y'all are ready.
Awesome, man.
Cool. What's up, guys? Welcome back to What's Next Birmingham.
What is up?
Today we've got an interesting guest, Riley Russell.
What's up, y'all?
Riley, we connected over LinkedIn actually.
Yes.
And I saw you were a Stanford major, Stanford alum, finance major, et cetera, and that you're involved in insurance and were in the banking industry before. So I'm super excited to jump into this. You're an excellent representation of what a YP is today. And so I'm excited to jump into it.
Awesome.
So,
Thank y'all for having me.
Of course,
it's gonna be
man.
fun.
Of course.
Absolutely.
We haven't actually had somebody from kind of your industry come on and talk about things yet. So it'll be kind of a new episode for anybody out there that is maybe interested in this topic. Be a good resource.
Yeah, for sure. Especially people that are in corporate world and don't know if they really want it, how they can kind of direct it into a different direction.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I'm excited to talk about is how did you, right now you are an insurance broker.
Right.
And what's the company you're working for? Goosehead?
It's Goosehead.
Okay.
Goosehead Insurance, yeah.
Cool. And so before this, you were in Cadence?
Yep, Cadence Bank,
Okay.
yep.
So
I was a remote banker. That was my official title.
Yeah.
And when I was interviewing for different jobs, everyone was confused by the title because with the word remote, they're like, "Oh, you work from home?" No, I don't work from home. I work in a corporate building, in a cubicle, all that. We're just remote from the branch. So remote banking on that team, and then I transitioned into teammate banking, so pretty much employee banking with Cadence. I was there until I left Cadence, pretty much.
Got you. Okay. So what was this? Because there's always kind of a push, a little bit of a fire, a spark that pushes you in one direction. What was it that brought you to that decision of I'm not going to be in Cadence in this role forever? How do I transition into the next phase of my career?
Yeah, for me, I don't know if y'all are like this. I'm sure y'all are. If I get bored of something, I just lose complete interest with it. If I don't feel like I'm growing, or if I feel like I'm plateauing at any level, that's when I know I need to leave.
Yeah.
And probably within, I'm not going to say 6 months because that seems too quick, but definitely 10 months, I'm like, okay, that something needs to change. I either need to switch teams, switch industries, something needs to happen, because I feel like professionally I'm plateauing and I don't see myself going anywhere at the moment. Because right now, like I'll tell my parents this sometimes. When I was at Cadence, I dreaded waking up Monday mornings going to work. I was so excited for 4:30, 5 o'clock on Fridays to come to go home or for the weekend.
Right.
Now it's like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited to wake up Mondays to go to work.
Yes.
And like I hate sleeping now because I want to continue working.
Mm-hmm.
And I work on weekends. Like that's just how different the industry has changed me.
I can totally feel you, man. Like that, like personally just resonating with you. And I'm sure viewers out there, they might be feeling the same.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation. So as Dylan mentioned, so how, like, what made you decide, like, you're going through and you're like, oh, I'm picking this? Were you just like throwing anything at the wall and see what sticks? Or like, how'd you land on doing insurance? Yeah.
So it's a funny story. So when I was at Cadence, I did a lot of home equity line of credit loans.
You were like a loan officer essentially.
Yeah, I did a lot of retail loans. So like HELOCs, I would even do credit card applications, loans, stuff like that. So I was doing a HELOC closing for one of our Cadence Bank clients, a teammate of ours, and he's based out of Houston. But I was just getting his declarations page, and I saw the word Goosehead Insurance on there. And my job, part of it was to call the insurance company and tell them to add Cadence Bank as a second mortgagee. So I went through that process, and then later that night looked up who Goosehead was and all that, read about them, and then just said, "No, what the heck? I'll apply for it," because I see that they have some positions that they're hiring in the Birmingham area. It's like, might as well just apply. Then the corporate recruiter reached out to me, did about 2 or 3 rounds with her, and then I met my agency owner, Will Battle, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So that's crazy how you actually saw that. And so did you have a great conversation with the person? Like, what was it that you were like, because you could just see that and be like, oh, Goosehead, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, was it you had a good, like, what was it that drew you like to that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was the great conversation for sure. With the recruiter, it was a very seamless process. Meeting well, one of my big things is that I want to be able to like who I work with. That I think that was one thing that was hard for me to leave Cadence because I loved my team, great people. I had a pleasure working with them. It was just the work I didn't like, unfortunately. But I had a conversation with Will. He showed me the systems, he showed me the processes, and he showed me how kind of like the commission works with Goosehead. And I know I have family members that work with State Farm. I know people that work with State Farm and all these other captive agencies. And when they come over to Goosehead, they're like, "This is so much better. The commission on this side of it is 100% better than what we get in the captive world." So that was really one of the.
Can you explain that a minute? So what is the captive? What does that mean?
So captive, if you're a captive agent, you're a State Farm agent, Alpha,
like the big, like blue chip,
right? So you only sell their products, right? So for me, I'm an independent insurance broker. So I can sell anything that we have carriers for. So I can do Progressive, I can do an Allstate, I can do all these other smaller ones you probably haven't heard of because they only work with independent brokers.
I see. Okay.
Kind of thing where it's like you go out, you eat what you kill.
Right.
So what was that kind of change? What did that look like?
Yeah. So like you said, from the banking side of it, it was very structured, right? So you knew what you're pretty much doing every single day.
Yeah.
And if you had nothing to do, you had nothing to do. On the insurance side of it, you have to figure out something to do. Right. Or else you're not making money for yourself, right? Yeah. So it's either marketing yourself, calling people in the book, doing small things like reach outs to loan officers, calling them, booking lunch appointments, booking coffee appointments, going and doing drop-offs, by loan officers, car dealerships, wherever you can get business from. That's where the kind of the hustle and the grind comes in the insurance business. Yeah. Yeah.
What about that learning curve though? That piece of like, how do I pitch somebody on this? How do I find these customers?
Like, did you have some sales training? Did you have to go into this and just like learn from scratch?
Most of it was trial and error. So like on the Cadence side of it, I learned how to sell like bank products at Cadence, right? So I learned how to deal with objections and learned kind of just a simple pitch, nothing crazy. But really then trial and error with Cadence, and then trial and error with Goosehead, and perfecting it, and also getting tips and tricks from my agency owner. And we also have recordings that we have within the company that we can listen to and kind of pick up, kind of tactics and strategies that we can take into our own call.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there, like, on that sales side, is there any pieces that you thought this was a game changer? Like when it came to like you being able to walk into that room or go into that coffee shop and be able to represent Goosehead the right way, as well as represent yourself the right way, and hopefully
That's a good question. I feel like,
for sure. I mean, like the data that we pull from our CRM, it's crazy. Like that was one of the big, like when I showed a Sanford student this week that was interested in Goosehead, our CRM system. He's like, this is insane. How much data y'all pull from the entire country. Yeah. So like for example, I'm technically still in our system as a banker. Okay. So I had an NMLS number. That's what every banker has. Right. So if I pulled up a loan officer today, I can see all the transactions that they did, their entire career. I can see who they referred out
within
to.
this Goosehead CRM.
Yeah. So like let's say so and so at Cadence Bank, I can see what the business they did last year, probably in the past 3 years, who they referred business out to, the transactions of that business, what kind of loan that is, where they do business. So I can see if it 100% is in Alabama, 50%, or if it's 50%. Or I can also see how much is refinanced and how much isn't. So we get a lot of data from our Goosehead platform that we can pull going into that meeting.
Wow.
And that's probably really good for prospecting and going and kind of filtering through who you want to go to. I'm trying to think, like, as you're going through this, because I know, like we talked a little bit before you got on here, you've only, you went and did some training and you started kind of like early this year getting into it, and you've seen some great success is what you've told me. Is there any, like, what are some challenges like that you've had to overcome or like to see the success?
Yeah, I mean, I think being persistent is the biggest thing. Being persistent and consistent, that is the biggest things that I've kind of come across with. Like, if I reach out to a customer, if I've reached out to you about insurance, whatever, you'll forget about it by dinner. So it's just reaching out to you like twice, 3 times a week. Just
living rent free.
Rent free in your head. Sending that email at the beginning of the week, end of the week, those catch up calls. So when you're ready to make that decision, you know exactly who to call and where to go to. So that's the biggest piece of it, really.
Yeah. How often do you follow up with somebody when you're trying to sell them? Like if somebody comes up,
it's probably case by case.
It's case by case.
Because some people you'll get through and they'll be receptive, and then you can be like, oh, this is like a hotter prospect, and then there are some that they won't answer, they don't want to deal with you, I'm sure.
Well, some companies have literally like multiplied this. They call it the touch process in sales, where before you get somebody on the phone or get somebody in that meeting, you touch them 30 times before. Like I know this one company that has a 33 touch system before they even try to get somebody on like a meeting.
To close.
Yes, to close.
So
they call
I feel like 33 is a lot.
I'm saying
that's fucking ridiculous.
That's a little too much.
It's 11 days of 3 calls every day.
People don't want to talk to you 3 times a day though.
But that is still, I mean, again, you can't discard like the system.
Right.
You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Because it works with some people.
Exactly. So what is that process like for you guys? Like personally, I know it's case by case, but if you were to kind of average it out or say like this is our quote unquote system, what would that look like?
I mean, it's really different. It's like every agent has their own system, right, and how they do things. I love to call people, and if I can't get them on the phone, I'm shooting them a text. Like, hey, like, sorry, I left you a voicemail. I just want to reach out. Want to be a good time to like call you back. Thanks, kind of thing. If I don't hear back from them, I'll probably shoot them an email by the end of the day, and then I leave them alone for that week. Because one thing I learned, especially at Cadence Bank, because I worked with a great colleague, Lynette Horde. She was at NCR, which they do a lot of finance tech. She was one of their biggest sales reps for many, many years. She told me, I
love fintech.
Oh, yeah.
I love fintech.
And she's like, when you sell someone, you're not selling them the product, okay? You're selling them a service.
Right.
So make sure that they like you, because if you're going to be, pushy, nobody wants a pushy salesperson. Exactly. They want to buy something from someone they like. Right.
So
that's the biggest part of it. I'm not going to try to push you into a sale.
Right.
I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you the numbers. It's like, hey, this is like, you're going to save money on this. This is a good coverage. I'll put it in your hands.
Yeah.
Because people hate being sold on anything.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
to a car dealership, who's there right in front of you
Mhm.
and on the first minute, a car salesman.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm just here to look for a car. I don't want
Yeah.
to, it's the exact same system.
But it is a little different because in some ways, those car salesmen, you came to the lot.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you're looking.
Yeah.
You are going out having to interact with people that are not coming
Right.
on the insurance lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing their own thing, and you have to kind of show them what you got. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of follows, like, segues perfectly into what I was going to ask you, is how, like, I know we again talked a little bit before about how, like, sometimes the insurance industry can be a little bit ups and downs. Like,
Right.
people might not have the best view on it. What is ways that you do inform your customers and you lay out everything to them that they
Yeah.
trust you and they have that, oh, you know, Riley's going to take care of me. He's not going to do me wrong.
Yeah. And I guess
Yeah.
this is after kind of like that concept of being in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you've made connection, how do you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do you like inform them on the you know, that you're better than you have that, you know, advantage over, you know, why should I choose you? You know,
Right.
essentially.
Well, it's, you know, I lay out the facts for them, right? I ask them who they're with, and if they're most likely with a captive person, right? I say, well, this is what we do. We can shop the market for you. So if you come with us, love that, great.
Mhm.
And if your rate goes up, let's say with Allstate, we can reshop that rate for you 6 months, a
Right.
year from now, and we can get you a better rate, cheaper for probably for the same coverage, if not better.
Mhm.
So that's the biggest component I like to tell people.
Yeah.
The other one is that we have a great service team. We have a great binding team at Goosehead. And it's very personable. Like if you call State Farm, you're going to deal with, you know, someone you don't know.
Like a third
Right.
party.
A third party,
yeah,
like
yeah.
probably in a different country,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But with Goosehead, you know, if you call me, I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to help you if I can.
So it's that personal touch.
Yeah.
That is, people like that. People
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I was gonna exactly mention that is like I've got a independent insurance broker for like my car insurance and
Right.
stuff, and so like with her, I've have not the I'm not the most proud of my driving record, but
Yeah.
the first couple
Yeah.
months, the first couple months I had my new car, I
Speed
got
racer over here, man.
yeah I got I think
happens to the
five,
best of us.
5 tickets in like a year or something.
No,
Oh,
So-
just pausing on that, dude. Dylan
Oh my
was
gosh.
close to getting like
Like
Yeah.
suspended?
Yeah,
license
like-
yeah,
like
my license
took.
suspended exactly, and so like it's been probably 2 years since then, and I
Yeah,
haven't
he's been
gotten a
good.
ticket.
He's been good.
I haven't gotten a ticket.
You know, I've been
since
on
then.
his ass though.
Oh,
You've
you
been
have.
hitting the cruise control every time you go on the road.
Right, exactly. But no, when all of that stuff came up, my insurance broker was able to say, okay, this is how long it takes for those tickets to roll off of your stuff. And
Yeah.
so the place I'm going with this is that relationship building back to
Mhm.
it. I mean, in our first conversation, you said that the personality, the relationship building is
Mhm.
one piece that makes you different from the rest.
Right.
But that second piece is being that first person to pick up that phone.
Right.
So I love the way that you mentioned that. Why do you think that those are two of the most important pieces of sales?
I think people are sick and tired of dealing with all this automated stuff in business. You know, if I call like a Verizon, Progressive, State Farm, I'm talking to a computer
Right.
or especially at Comcast, right?
Mhm.
Like if I customer service, I'm talking
Oh,
to
screw
a computer,
Comcast,
AI,
man.
and I'm on the phone with them for an hour.
I hate
right?
Comcast, bro.
So like for example, I had this client that I sold them a home policy in January. Unbeknownst to me, the deal didn't go through in January, so they pushed back the closing till like this week. She's calling me directly to fix the issue. She's not
Right.
calling some person in a third party
Right.
company to fix it. She's calling me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, pause real quick.
Up and ask you. So I always like to kind of ask this question, and I'll kind of leverage it in a way that I think will be good for you. Like, let's pretend we're on Instagram right now, and somebody is scrolling, and they see this reel, and your face is on there. Like, what would you want to tell them specifically that maybe if they're like, oh, I'm interested in insurance, or maybe I'm just interested in my career development, or
Right.
anything that you would want to tell somebody to benefit them.
Yeah, man. I would just tell them that it's an uphill trajectory.
Mhm.
You can make it the best that you want. It's totally up to you. Like if you want, like in this insurance industry nowadays, you have to brand yourself, market yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wants to go to insurance, I'm like, go for it, but give it your 110%.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to make money is if you give it 110%. If you just give you 50, you aren't going to do anything in this business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sorry, 1 second, Dylan.
Are you good?
I'm the job I've got right now, so I'm working with a couple brokers, and we do logistics, right? So he's got an account, and one of the other execs was like, "Hey man, if you're a broker and you're leaving at 4 o'clock, you might as well get your resume ready, man, because
Yeah.
you're gonna be, you might as well get the grill going,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not gonna be a broker for long
Right.
if you're leaving at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the place that I was going to bring that's a really good point, is that's the entrepreneurial spirit. You have to have that need that I need to accomplish something today in order to be successful in
Yeah.
insurance or finance or any of this sales related pieces, because when it's an environment that you eat what you kill, you got to be killing,
Yeah.
you know? And you know, so that was one place that I wanted to kind of direct it is I'm a true believer in there's an entrepreneurial spirit in everybody. They just have to tap into it, and then they have to find the right opportunity vehicle.
Well, I feel like
Like-
I agree, but I disagree, because I feel like everybody could, start their own business if they have the motivation, but it's not. I feel like not everybody is a leader. You can't have not everybody
true.
is a
Right.
leader. Not everybody is an entrepreneur.
Some people don't have
you
that
know?
personality.
Some people, and that's okay. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to not want to do that or to not do that.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. But what I'm saying is that it's a character trait.
Right.
You know, being an entrepreneur is a character trait, and you can either, like in my perspective, I personally know that I have that instilled in me, and so for me, I have to tap into it, and I say, okay, I'm going to let this drive me, and so for you, going back to the opportunity vehicle. Being an entrepreneur in an opportunity vehicle, that's the most interesting piece about you. Is I think you have an entrepreneurial mind, and you are in insurance as an opportunity vehicle to get to that next place.
Right.
So that's what I want to ask you is, when you were looking at your career trajectory in finance, we understand what that was looking like and how you were dealing with it. But when you look at your career as an insurance broker, like, give me, what is the goal 1 year from being into this business?
Yeah, I mean, 1 year into this business, I want to have hundreds of accounts under my name. I want to own hundreds of accounts.
Yeah.
I want to be able to written hundreds of $1,000s in policy premiums, right? This is only the start. This is the foundation
Yes.
of my entrepreneurial business career.
Right.
Like we talked about, this is a great layout for many years to come, because I can use this to do other businesses, other ventures.
Right. Yes.
So a lot of things can branch from this one thing, which
Yeah.
that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah. So that's 1 year. Let me ask 5.
5?
years. Yeah.
Hopefully, if it's 5, I want to. Of course, I don't want to be like too ahead of myself, but millions of premiums under my name. I think if you're not striving for that, then why are you in sales? If you just want to get by, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
You should, like, with my mindset of it, I've told people this. I've told lenders this. With insurance, I know you're sending this out to other, like, your clients out to other insurance agents. My goal is to beat them.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to beat them to
Yeah.
get your business.
Yeah.
Like, I view that as a competition, right?
Right.
Like, I want to beat everybody. And I think
You got to have that
Yeah.
in sales in a way.
Exactly.
yeah. Like, I don't have that mindset. It's like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what what agency you're with. My goal is to beat you on that price and that coverage.
Right.
And so, like, 5 years, 10 years from now, I want to have multiple real estate properties. I want to have different business ventures that I can get income from, because that's the world that we live in now.
Right.
You got to have multiple streams, man.
Multiple streams, like for example, for you guys, this is a great, like, podcasting is killing it right now in the industry.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing is I want to transition onto that marketing piece for you. So, like, because we're kind of in this environment where we're always looking for opportunities when it comes to how can we
We're
market
always on the
ourselves.
scheme.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking for new platforms. We're looking for new idea concepts. We're looking for all of this stuff. And so for you getting in front of people, going back to that concept, on the education side of that, I think that's, you've pointed it out before, that's one of those pieces where when you look at competition, you're saying how many educational pieces are they actually putting out that is helping somebody
Right.
make a decision on, I want to pick up this policy. This is the
Right.
best thing for me. So, like, for you, what are some of those pieces that you're focused on right now on that marketing side? Like, what are some concepts? What's your plan with that, that marketing side of it?
Yeah, so like right now, I want to do more educational focused videos, content, that kind of stuff. Day in the lives are great.
Yeah.
It really it personalizes me as a person to other people watching me, because
Right.
people probably think insurance agents, they just smile and dial. They
Yeah.
probably just think that as kind of a pinpoint view of an insurance agent, but there's so many other aspects that go into it,
Right.
right? Like the marketing, the
Mhm.
prospecting, the client calling, the customer service
Mhm.
part of it, and the relationship side of it. But also just like showing my personality is that, like, I like to have fun. I'm a
Mhm.
human being too.
Mhm.
Right.
Like I'm gonna make mistakes, but like, this is a fun industry to be in if you want to be
Yeah.
into it. And I kind of want to show that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
love
trying to
that.
think, like, I know you said you've gone through trainings and everything. What is, like, is there a time that sticks out to you? Maybe you were like having a conversation with a client, or you were trying to close somebody, and they were giving you just like objections, and then you were like, you like overcome them, or maybe you like couldn't overcome them, or just like a funny story surrounding that. Do you have any that come to mind?
I mean, yeah, though I guess the one this week or a couple weeks ago, I have plenty of them.
Oh, I'm sure
Um,
people object. all the
it's
time.
objections, and they want to go through every single coverage
Yes.
with all the different kind of numbers and see
Right.
what that end premium is. Like,
Mhm.
I've literally been on the phone with a client for 2 hours going through every numbers, seeing what kind of premium I can get him down to that he can afford it.
Yeah.
But also when that happens, I make sure that I educate him on what
Mhm.
he is buying,
Right.
right? Because that's my job at the ethical side of it, is to make
Mhm.
sure my clients know what kind of coverage they're buying.
Yeah.
Which I think also separates me from other people, is that, again, like the educational part of it, I want to make sure my clients know what they're
Right.
buying, because I don't want they get themselves in a situation, a vehicle accident, something, a tree falls in their house, and they think that they're covered, but in reality they're not.
Yeah.
I want to make sure they know what they're covered, and that's
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean, there's a million different things that are going through my mind. I could seriously sit here for another 2 hours and talk to you. But once again, thank you very much for coming on. And as Sean said, we'll have everything linked below. Is there any last thoughts from you before we sign off?
Awesome, man. I mean, just thank y'all for having me. This is great.
Of
I mean,
course,
yeah,
man.
we'll for sure do this again. This is
Yeah,
fun.
definitely want to follow up. We were telling him that we'd love to bring people back on and see where they're at later on. So we definitely wish you the best,
Awesome.
and want to see you close more accounts.
Yeah, man.
And bring in that revenue, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right.
That's what we do.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll see you guys on the next one.